On Tuesday, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem embarrassed herself in front of members of Congress after being asked about habeas corpus.
So, Secretary Noem, what is habeas corpus?
Well, habeas corpus is a constitutional right that the president has to be able to remove people from this country and suspend their right to.
Let me stop you, ma'am. Habeas corpus, excuse me, that's incorrect.
President Lincoln used it.
Excuse me. Habeas corpus is the legal principle that requires that the government provide a public reason for detaining and imprisoning people. If not for that protection, the government could simply arrest people, including American citizens, and hold them indefinitely for no reason. Habeas corpus is the foundational right that separates free societies like America from police states like North Korea. As a senator from the live free or die state, this matters a lot to me and my constituents and to all Americans. So, Secretary Noem, do you support the core protection that habeas corpus provides, that the government must provide a public reason in order to detain and imprison someone?
Yeah, I support habeas corpus. I also recognize that the President of the United States has the authority under the Constitution to decide if it should be suspended or not.
It has never
Let us be clear, though,
it has never been done. It has never been done without approval of Congress. Even Abraham Lincoln got retroactive approval from Congress.
Oh, ouch. Oh, yes. No, I support it, except that I totally don't, because I'm going to give you something that is, wrong. I'm going to give you incorrect facts. And then, yeah, I'm going to look like a moron. Yeah, that's pretty much Kristi Noem there. Look, you would think that the Secretary of Homeland Security would know what habeas corpus means and how fundamental it is to freedom and liberty. You know, the things that Republicans kept talking about ad nauseum that apparently Democrats were taking away. Turns out it's Republicans taking away projection. It always is. Okay. They never seem to actually believe in freedom and liberty. I guess only for them and their large corporate donors, of course. That said, all right, the Constitution's suspension clause, the second clause of Section 9, Article 1, states that habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless, in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. Now, are we in the midst of a rebellion? Not really. What about an invasion? Nope. Yeah, no. That is, of course, despite what Trump and MAGA claim about undocumented immigrants apparently constituting an invasion force. Really? Yeah. Calling this an invasion? Hyperbole. Okay, to the extreme. And of course, in pure MAGA fashion, they took that hyperbole and apparently they took it as fact. Okay. And that's because they generally just don't like brown people.
The Republican Party's racist.
They believed in the white replacement conspiracy theory, which at its core, of course, is anti-Semitic, because who exactly would be importing the brown people? You know, they are. It's them. Okay, right. Look. Drill down to the core of any right-wing conspiracy theory, and you end up with them pinning something on the Jews. It always happens. Always. But anyway, this is not the only video of Kristi Noem falling flat on her face. In fact, later on, you had Senator Andy Kim, who came around to address this point again.
Can you confirm to us that you understand that any suspension of habeas corpus requires an act of Congress?
President Lincoln executed habeas corpus in the past with retroactive action by Congress. I believe that any president that was able to do that in the past, it should be afforded to our current day president. This president has never said he's going to do this. He's never communicated to me or his administration that they're going to consider suspending habeas corpus, but I do think the Constitution allows them the right to consider it.
when we saw what happened with, how many times has habeas corpus been suspended in our country?
Once that I know of.
4 times.
For certain. I'm not
And
certain if those were.
the instance that you were referring to was one where the courts subsequently showed that Congress is the one that has the ability. Do you know what section of the Constitution the suspension clause of habeas corpus
I
is
do
in?
not. No,
Do you know which article it is in?
no, I do not, sir.
Okay, well, it is
The
in
suspension.
Article 1. Do you know
Okay.
which branch of government Article 1 outlines the tasks and the responsibilities for?
Yes,
Which one?
Congress.
Yes.
Oh, what was that? Congress, you say?
Whoopsie. Whoopsie.
Yes, it is Congress's job, not the job of the president, to suspend habeas corpus again in the event of rebellion or, invasion. So there you go. But look, I want to go back to what she said about Trump not saying that he was going to do something like this. Are you sure? Bro literally talked about being dictator for a day during the election. And you know how you become a dictator? You suspend habeas corpus. All right, that's one of the first things that you do. And look, to buttress that point, you had Stephen Miller, gobbles himself, all right, admitting that that's absolutely what they are trying to do. They're trying to do it right now, so yeah. So look, it shouldn't surprise anyone that either Noem does not know what habeas corpus is, or she's lying and putting out stupid, misleading answers because she knows that what she's doing and what she's saying is absolutely fundamentally wrong. Either way, it's not only an embarrassment on her part, because it is embarrassing, but I think it's part of an effort to strip American citizens of our fundamental rights and to hand it over to the Christo-fascists. And if they manage to do that, to take away the fundamental right of habeas corpus, well, they're not going to give those rights back. And I think that, at the end of the day, should be the actual takeaway from this whole thing. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.